I am now creating weekly exclusive content for Patreon, so if you are interested in that, go check out the link down below. And of course, if you want to avoid the random lottery of FIFA points, you want to go straight to the source, buy the players directly, use u7buy.com and use the code TVM at checkout. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to yet another player review. I have an awful lot to get through. We've got 93 Mendy coming out a little bit later on. 94 Perisic up next, though, of course. This was the SBC drop yesterday. Kessie is already up. That went up last night. He is the objective card. EA dropping card after card that you just want to do. It's going to get to a point where you're going to have to start making some decisions as to which SBC to complete or not, because they keep coming out, and if they keep being sort of this good a value, there is still going to be a point where you're like, right, well, even though that's insane value, I can't afford it because I've already done 12 of them, you know? This promo is going to last best part of 2 months, so yeah, if they're going to drop daily SBCs like this, you are going to need to stock up on FIFA points. That's kind of what EA should be doing, realistically, is dropping like loads of different cards. Like Perisic, for example, is not really one that I thought we'd see. He does have a season objective. I think it is 87 rated, which was... I actually quite enjoyed that card. It was decent. It helped me out an awful lot in objectives for icon swaps when we had to do Bundesliga stuff and first owner things. So that was nice. And I knew kind of what to expect going into this because I had put a fair few games on that Perisic. I had Coutinho in my team at one point. He linked to him, and that was quite nice. The other thing, of course, is that we do have a decent Coutinho. You can link into him. You can soft link into that flashback Modric, which, of course, is what I've done. And we have a nice link into the flashback Axel Witsel. So, obviously, you'll see the team in a second. But you've got an awful lot of option with Perisic. Normally, like a Croatian in the Bundesliga wouldn't necessarily offer you good links, but it is actually a decent nation this year with many, many cards you can use with him. 4-star skills, 5-star weak foot makes him very desirable. A high attacking work rate, medium defensive, of course, high in average body type because he is 6'1". That initially concerned me until I started playing with him, and we'll talk about that. 94 acceleration, 97 sprint speed. When the 87 came out, I wasn't critical of the pace because I thought, considering he doesn't have great pace, although 87 acceleration, 90 sprint speed on the 87, I thought that was quite good, actually. He felt a lot quicker than I thought he would because he didn't have great agility and balance. It was 80 and 77. Now he has 90 agility and 86 balance. If you give him a Maestro, for example, you get 95 agility. Depends on what you want from him and what position you want to play him in. Of course, with a 5-star weak foot, you can basically play him anywhere across the middle, and he makes absolutely no difference. And that's exactly what I did. There wasn't any one designated position for Perisic. An engine is probably my preferred chem style because you get that 96 balance, 95 agility, 97 reactions with 99 dribbling, but also the passing goes up, some of which into the 90s because the vision is obviously below 90, and then of course you get 99 acceleration and sprint speed, which makes him feel almost like Orsic. Not as quick, don't get it twisted, he's not Orsic, but he's not far off, you know, and he has a 5-star weak foot and 4-star skills with good links. I do really like this card. I mean, on paper in particular, you might be forgiven for thinking, well, he's not going to feel as good as, and then insert player name. In my team, he actually replaced Eden Hazard. Now, whether that's a permanent replacement, I don't know. 92 Hazard, not the 95. So before people start criticising that decision, for the amount of in-game stats, or rather for the overall that they both have, 94 for Perisic, 92 for Hazard, the in-game stats difference is in the hundreds, which is just crazy when you think about it. Like, if you go look at Robert Lewandowski's informs, and you go look at his 93 compared to his 94, or 92 compared to 93, there's only a, I don't know, double figure, if that, difference between the two. And then if you look at Hazard and Perisic, 92 compared to 94, the difference is in the hundreds. It's mad how much of a difference there is between sort of cards that come out now. In fact, I'm going to go have a look to see exactly what the difference is. But cards that come out now that are 92, 93, 94 rated compared to cards that came out last year or at the start of the year that are the same rating, just unbelievable the difference between them. So Hazard has 2,217 in-game stats. Perisic has 2,553. I mean, that is mad. That's over 300 in-game stats more. How is that even possible for a card that's only 2 overall higher? And that 92 Hazard on the market is about 130k. This Perisic is about 115. That is another madness. With that being said, is he actually any good? Depends on what position you want to play him in, but to be honest, wherever I played him, he didn't really do bad. I wouldn't recommend it, but he did have a stint as a centre mid. Now, whoa, bear with me, I know that's not ideal. However, I talked about it at 6 o'clock content last night. If you look at the defensive stats and you compare that to other sort of wingers, he actually doesn't have bad defensive stats. If you gave him a Guardian, he's kind of like semi-useful as a CM. He actually turns into a 91 rated CM. Now, the reason I mention it is because there are an awful lot of good attackers out there, and you may or may not be able to fit Perisic in your team. Or maybe you don't want to replace your current winger, right? So, if you can get him in there, even on 7 chem, you may be able to get away with using him as a centre mid. 4-2-3-1 is the formation that I use. Playing him as a centre mid next to your sort of stay back while attacking, like CDM style player, isn't a terrible option because he drives forward with power. He's got a high attacking work rate, so his coming back might not be there, but just bear that in mind. As a cam as well, actually, not a bad option. Engine, Maestro, whatever you want to do. Not a bad option at all. And as a striker, I wouldn't necessarily want to go with the Hawk. I think there might be better chem styles out there, but you do bump that strength up to 91. The aggression goes to 84, which is nice. Very good in the air, and of course in front of goal there, 99 shot power, 96 finishing, 99 positioning, and 99 for both acceleration and sprint speed. There are an awful lot of decent chem styles to use on Perisic. Deadeye, for example, if you want to turn him into a 97 rated cam, you can do that. I was kind of fleeting between them. I still think the engine is probably the way I would go if I was to use him permanently, because as a left-sided winger, which is where I would want to play him, I think you're probably going to get the best out of him, because I play with Ings. I don't know how much longer Ings will remain in the team for, but for right now, Ings and Mertens are my middle two. I much prefer to have those two as the middle two. Mertens as the cam, and Ings as my striker, because Ings, although he is quick and he's good and he's 4-star, 4-star, I much prefer him to be in the middle, and I don't really like him as a cam because he's not agile enough. As a striker, he just can't stop scoring goals for me, but as a striker, don't really want him out on the wing, so that kind of forced Perisic to stay out wide. If I ever switched into a 4-1-2-2, Perisic would go my left striker. He got his fair share of goals, he got involved, he was very good. In terms of his mobility, he's actually very quick, and his agility is good. His mobility isn't the best I've ever used, obviously, because he's 6'1", and you know, without a chem style, 90 agility, 86 balance. But to be fair, with the engine chem style applied, he feels pretty decent. Like I said, there are better cards out there in terms of mobility. Mertens, for example. Okay, Mertens is going to be far more expensive because this card is, like I said, 115k or whatever it may be. But, you know, like the likes of Mertens and players like of that height, Insigne, Giovinco, whatever it may be, they're always going to feel quicker. They're always going to feel better in terms of being able to drag backs and what have you. But Perisic is strong. He wins his fair share of 50-50s. He can bundle his way through. That 5-star weak foot, it cannot go unnoticed. That is a fantastic, I would say, trait, but you know what I mean. Speaking of traits, he only has flair, which is a bit of a shame that he does. I would say it's a shame he doesn't have like outside of foot shot, but with 5-star weak foot, you don't really need that, so that's kind of irrelevant. But only the one trait in flair. You can do a little bit of showing off with him if you really want to. I'll be honest, I didn't go into this with high expectation. I did like the 87, therefore I knew I would kind of enjoy the 94. I have changed my playstyle slightly since using that 87, so I didn't really think I would like it as much as I enjoyed my time with the 87, but this card is very, very good. I would love to be able to sit down with you individually and say, look, if you've got this guy, yeah, replace him. If you've got this guy, no, he's not good enough. But he is a very similar card to Orsic in every sense of the word, even on paper. Even if you click, actually, I think, yeah, even if you click similar on Footbin, the only card that comes up is Orsic. They're both of the same nation as well, by the way, so you could potentially get a soft link if you play Orsic as like a left forward as a striker, get him on 7 chem, get Perisic in there as well. You can have Perisic one side, Orsic on the other, and both of them are like lightning down the outside. They're both relatively strong. Perisic is very aggressive, very strong, and bundles his way through an awful lot. In terms of a negative, honestly, just the fact that he's maybe not, I don't know, because I was going to say maybe the fact that he's not like 5'10 with 99 agility, but to be honest, that would just take away from the player that he is. To be honest, I don't think there is a negative. Even if you have to use him as a super sub, that is a fantastic card for 115,000 coins. If you're on the fence, I would say, look, are you happy to have him as a super sub? Because off the bench, he can cause you all sorts of problems. I wanted Orsic for my bench, and I haven't got around to him. I was waiting for maybe to get him in red picks, and I just didn't. Twice in a row, didn't get him. So now I'm going to use Perisic instead, and I'm not going to buy Orsic. That's my stance on it. So take from that what you will. Let me know whether you're going to complete it or not. I definitely think it's worth it. For 115k, you literally can't go wrong. If you have done it and you've tried him, let me know what you think. If you haven't done it, but maybe this has swayed you one way or another, feel free to let me know that as well. If you have enjoyed it though, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.